Fruit orchards are really nice places to be in the late spring when all the blossoms come out, particularly with apple blossom because it smells so nice. You can eat these blossoms, but they don't taste very nice. But if you make them into a tea, like 3 flowers into like a herb tea, they're quite nice then. And smelling them is supposed to protect you. But each different fruit tree, even different plants of the same species, like different varieties of apple, they all have different colour blossoms, and I thought I'd do a little video today just looking around at all the different fruit trees and all of the different blossoms, since they're only here for a short time. This one here needs to be straightened again. It's come loose from its post. But look at this, it's got almost completely white blossom, this one. No sort of hint of pink apart from when they're really tight and bud. Do you want to go back on my shoulder again, Con? Come on then. Oh, make up your mind. Right, and in here, this is an Adam's pearmain apple. And it's got kind of like a more like pinky, kind of a orangey pinky kind of blossom. And it looks really nice. These are gorgeous apples, these ones. They look a bit pear-shaped, so they've called it pearmain. We've got a Worcester's pearmain as well somewhere. And then over here we've got a cobra apple. These ones are all sort of smudgy pink, and they've got smaller petals and smaller blossoms. Really, really strong smell. And this is a cooking apple, quite a nice one. You see that one's tied to its post there by some tights, which is the cheapest and most effective way of staking apple trees. And then here, this one's a Blenheim orange, and this one's got really nice big flowers. Kind of really nice pink outside and white inside. They're really nice ones, these ones. Find one I can smell. That one's not out probably. Oh, there's one. Yeah, really, really nice. In this far corner here, where we haven't yet moved these branches, that's a James Grieve. It varies with its harvest. Sometimes they're not very nice, sometimes it doesn't have any, sometimes they're really nice. It kind of varies. And that's a pear Mrs. Seddon, which is just sort of just finishing. And then this one here is an Irish pear called Green Pear of Yare. And of course pear blossoms don't really smell like apple blossoms do, but they look nice, and they come out usually a bit before, but this year things have come out more like together. This apple here is called Tickled Pink, and the fruit aren't terribly nice, I don't think, but they're alright to make smoothies out of. And the fruit are like totally like red inside, and the skin is red as well, so it's like it looks more like a kind of a plum or something. But they're sort of kind of nice. And if you mix them with apples for fruit juice or smoothies, then it's like red apple juice, which is really interesting, and the fruit juice is quite nice from them. But here again it's held up with these tights and some posts. And it's quite an early apple, this one. And the blossoms, yeah, they don't smell that much. And as far as I know, this is got a little bit of crab apple mixed in with it, because you get quite a lot more variety with the crab apples, with all the blossoms. You get lots of ones with different colour blossoms, or like in reds and pinks. But this one looks like it's been mixed with the crab apple a bit, which is probably why it doesn't taste very nice. But it does make the blossoms very interesting. But also, when the leaves come out, you can just see there's a few leaves here and there. They come out red as well, so it's actually like a copper apple when it's got its leaves out. It looks very, very unusual and different from the other fruit in the orchard. This one here, which we haven't got around to pruning this year, I thought it was a gala, but I think it might be a golden delicious, I'm not sure. But it is just starting to come out, this one. This one's called Berry Sturkman. This is a pear, and it's just sort of finishing as well. And it's a Dutch pear, this one. And then just behind it is a Japanese pear, and they always flower first, and you could just sort of see little fruit starting to develop. They're very early Japanese pears. They'll pollinate with other pears from pollination group 1, but they're not actually Pyrus communis like all the other pears in the orchard. These ones are Pyrus pyrifolia, and they sort of grow them in Asia and in Japan, in Australia. So yeah, they're kind of nice. This one here is called Sunset, and it's got really nice strongly scented flowers, but you can see where the hedge hadn't been cut for a little while, and there's thankfully been at least the side done this year, but because it was all growing over it, it's made the tree all kind of grow over that way. But there's still a few bits of hedge in it, but the blossom smells gorgeous. And the fruit are nice as well, but it's very susceptible if there's like a cold temperature. And then right at the sort of end little pinnacle of this level of orchard is this one here, which is kind of a pear that weeps a bit. It kind of, the branches hang down, and it's quite a late pear. It is a cooking pear. Really interesting blossoms with kind of quite curvy round petals and very, very distinctive coloured stamens in the middle, and silvery leaves. The leaves are always different on them as well. And this one is called Cadillac, but it's not named after the American car. It's named after a town in France called Cadillac, and it's spelt kind of a bit differently as well. And yeah, it looks a really nice pear, and it does fruit when there's a bit of frost as well. It's one of those few ones that are a little bit more hardy, so it's kind of a nice tree, and they are delicious, these ones. Some years individual fruit trees don't produce any blossom at all. This one hasn't got any. But this one here is a Clapp's favourite pear, and it's flowers really early. It's in the very early pollination group, and it's still got a few blossoms, particularly on the sort of shady side, and yeah, they're really nice. And then this apple here is Jonagold, and it's got really nice big, very light pink flowers, and it's particularly strongly scented. And then there's the quince. This is Serbian gold, and quince are in their own little group, which is called Cydonia, which is not to be mistaken for a region of Mars of the same name. And these are kind of unique. They have like a little bit of growth, and then they have an individual flower rather than a little cluster of flowers. And they usually flower a little bit later, usually one of the last trees to flower on the orchard. But yeah, it's a lot of big, like big apple blossom really, but sort of individual. And they're sort of strange. They have quite big fruit that doesn't taste very nice, but it looks very nice, and it's quite good to make things out of, but not to kind of eat raw. But some people like them, and they just look really interesting just to have one of them in an orchard. They look really kind of strange and different. This one isn't fully out yet. This is Bramley's apple, really reliable cooking apple. Very strongly scented. And they have these huge apples, but they're horrible to eat, but they're nice sort of to cook with. And yeah, just coming out, it will look a lot nicer in a few days' time. Then there's these two, which are both early apples. This one is called Limelight, and this one is called Rosette. And they're quite big apples that ripen about August, September. And they are nicely scented flowers, very kind of white looking flowers on the rosette. Now this one has coloured flesh apples like the tickle pink, but they're kind of in swirls of red and white. They're kind of interesting. If you cut through them, they're sort of different colours as you go through them in swirls. They're really strange, and they, unlike the tickle pink, these ones taste really delicious and quite easy to grow as well. It had this for quite a while. This one it hasn't grown very fast, but it has grown well. And last year it didn't crop. Neither of these did very well last year, but usually it has kind of big fruit like this, and they're just really interesting to eat, these ones. And this one, Limelight, nice kind of green, limey green coloured apples, and the flowers are quite big and quite purpley on the backs, and they look really nice. This pear is called Onward, and it's never been that good, and the fruit don't taste very nice. But this pear, which I had to straighten last year, is called Berry Alexander Lucas. And it's got nice kind of coloured little pears starting to form there. If you could just zoom in and have a look at those. And a few blossoms still out, and it usually is quite good one, this one. If there's a frost, it's sometimes still produces a few pears, so it's a little bit tougher, and it has a habit of flopping over a bit, but it has nice blossoms as well, but yeah, they're kind of nearly over now. But over here is the Cox's apple here. This is a really nice old variety. It's called Cox's Orange Pippin, and they are pretty tough, and it's nice to have one of these in an orchard because they are so sweet and tasty. Wow. And yeah, sort of September, October, I guess. It's a fruit, but they're really nicely scented, and they put on a really nice display as well. So it's like really a must for any orchard, this one. And this one, which is called Scrumptious, and it doesn't produce apples every year. It has good years and bad years. Last year it didn't really have anything worth eating, but when it does crop, it produces tons and tons of apples. This berry hardy pear is also very reliable if there's a late frost. It's very, very tough. And then down here, I want this to be another terrace of orchard one day. And then about here, another terrace, and sort of going down to like at the water's edge. So a lot of landscaping here and perhaps sticking out into the water a bit. So the top bit's all finished, but there's bits like orchards of the future. This pear is called the Stark Crimson, and it's a mutant branch which was found by the Stark brothers in Missouri in the 1950s, and all of them came from that one bit. And this one has exactly like Clapp's favourite, because it was a mutant branch of Clapp's favourite, but everything's red and it has red fruit. It's only produced fruit once so far. They were really, really nice, but that's what this one is. Here on the woodland island is a crab apple. Crab apples are native to Europe, and they sort of grow in hedgerows and things, but you do get quite a wide variety of them. There's some very, very wild looking ones that are a bit prickly, and then you get some like this one which look more like they've escaped like somebody's chucked an apple core there once and it grew there. But you get quite a really wide variety with the wild crab apples. On this side of this pond we've got this little narrow orchard which comes down between this little thin strip of woodland here on the north side, and then this little hedge bank on the south side, so it's nice and sheltered. And this one here is called Ribston Pippin, and it's the parent, one of the parents of the Cox's Orange Pippin. So it's a really nice old variety. It smells really gorgeous, big flowers, kind of a light, very light pink, and quite round, big petals. It looks kind of nice and different, and the branches are sort of weeping and hanging down a bit. It's got this very kind of weeping aspect, and it's pretty reliable. If there's a late frost, it loses all the fruit, but otherwise I've always got something off it, although different proportions on different years. I had a few last year, loads the year before. And this one is a Spartan apple. Now I've got a bigger one of these, but they were so good. Sometimes a tree doesn't grow, so I replaced it with ones that do really well here. And Spartan apple, they're just like big purple things. They ripen about August, and inside they're all white and crunchy, and they're just gorgeous. They're one of my favourite apples. But they are, purple. They look like a big plum, and then when you cut them open, it's all just white and juicy, and they're just lovely. I really recommend these ones, and I've got a bigger one, so I'll have a look at that one as well. And here another Japanese pear, again sort of like forming fruits. And here this one has got 3 trees on one. This was the one I bought to see what they were like, and it had like was it Lord Lambourne, Bountiful and Braeburn, I think, all on the same tree. So on different parts of the tree you've got little different coloured bits. Here's a kind of pinky flowers, there's a kind of whitey flower, and that one hasn't come out yet, whatever that one's like. So I'm not too sure which one's which. And here you've got a kind of darker coloured bits. It's a bit strange, that tree. This plum tree is it's got quite a few flowers on it this year. Last year it had just a few plums, which is the first time it's ever produced fruit, and it's been in more than a decade, but apparently they do take a long time to produce fruit. And this one has delicious fruit. They are worth the wait, because plums in shops, unless they're sort of from some local grower, are usually horrible. I don't know what they do to them, but if you'd only ever tried shop plums, you'd think they were horrible. But these ones are really nice, and really any plums you grow yourself will be really nice. Above here the orchard is fully landscaped, and then this bank going up to the woods is also landscaped, but from here onwards it's not. So this little hill here will continue along the edge of here, a bit back a bit, so it'll give another row. So from here onwards it's going to be 3 rows of trees, and then so here there's like 3 rows, and then it will continue down there with the hedge bank along there, and then like a higher bit of woods coming along the side of it. So all this bit behind me here will also be landscaped and added to the orchard. This one here is the only cherry tree which has survived. We planted 3 of them, and this is the only one that grew. And it has quite nice cherries, and it's, but I'm puzzled that they don't do well here, because the flowering cherries do really, really well here. But this one survived, so I'll plant a few more, because I really like cherries, but they are difficult to keep the birds off them, and they sort of crop very early. Some crop in May, some June, July, so you get a kind of a quite a season of them, quite a few different types of cherries, and different colours as well. And this one's got quite a lot of flowers this year. Last year the birds got them all, the year before I got some of them. But I do have a cherry net, so maybe I'll put a cherry net on them this year. I'll have to see. Down in this forgotten corner of the orchard here is this one here with these really nice blossoms. And this one's called Ashmead Kernel. It's kind of, I think the fruit are horrible. The flowers smell lovely and look gorgeous, but I don't really like the fruit. I treat this one like a cooker, but it's a very nice tree. But I've got to get around to clearing away all these dog roses and wild raspberries and things soon. And also here in this forgotten end of the orchard is this other bigger Spartan apple, and even here infested with raspberries and gooseberries. It does really well. In fact, gooseberries and raspberries seem to go really well with fruit trees, but these raspberries were in neat rows and they've got to grow into a clump, and they've been like that for years, but they produce so many raspberries. And then in amongst them is this Spartan apple here. There are a few wild species of pear. This is the Plymouth pear, which is our rarest native species, and they sort of have little kind of purplish blossoms, look a bit different. But this isn't Pyrus communis, this is Pyrus cordata. It's a very rare species of tree which only grows in Devon and Cornwall, and then bits of northern Spain and bits of western France, and just a few here. There's thought to be only 60 in the wild, or mostly around Truro and Plymouth. And this is the common pear or wild pear, and this is native to most parts of Europe. There is quite a bit of disagreement as to whether if it's native to Britain or not. You look up on one place it says yes it is, you look up on another it says no it isn't, but if it isn't, it has been here a long time and it is a native to the near continent. But it is a really nice little tree, and you get, like with the apple, you get so many different ones. You've got some that have nice tasty fruit, where somebody's probably chucked a pear core, and other ones which are just really tiny. This one has little round, really nasty fruit, really horrible, but the birds like them. And they're kind of prickly as well. The wild ones are usually prickly, but not always. And then you've got these like flowering trees, which were like, this is a flowering cherry, but you've also got flowering pears and crab apples and things like garden varieties, and they're generally just for the flowers. The fruit, if they have any at all, are usually very unpleasant and not always edible. But these are just really just for the flowers, really. They're just like blossoms, but they just have loads more. So you get a whole different genre then with all these flowering garden varieties of relations of the fruit trees. So yeah, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you press the little me, which is somewhere down there, you can see all my other videos. And if you have any questions, please ask. And I shall see you next time.